with the policies, the things that he's doing. Now, they may not come out and say that publicly, but behind the scenes and in one-on-one conversations, there are plenty that are not happy. And I think that says something about Donald Trump's administration. Right now, there's a poll. The new poll from Pew Research now says he has a 58% disapproval rating. 58%. That's not good. Not good at all. So, surprise. More people are starting to, and we'll have to pay attention to this. How long is it going to take for other people who have not already bought in? Like, obviously, we know that Officer Tatum is not going to turn. He bought and paid for. We already know that. But how long is it going to take for other people to say, okay, look, this is not right? We'll have to wait and see. Hey guys, this was a savvy clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.
I'm so grateful that you're here and that you're running against Dan Crenshaw. I don't think Dan Crenshaw is the worst person in the world or anything like that. I feel sorry for Dan Crenshaw. He's clearly a very troubled guy. But it just does seem like the Republican Party shouldn't have to have a Dan Crenshaw in it. And I think you're going to beat Dan Crenshaw. And I just want to say thank you for doing that.
I'm honored to be here with you. I really am. So I've been jealous of you because my wife loves you so much.
So you're in the Texas House. You represent an area that overlaps with Crenshaw's district, obviously. You live there. It's one of the most conservative districts in Texas, I think is fair to say.
Montgomery County is absolutely the reddest of red counties.
Yes.
Tarrant County's bigger, but it's purple. Yep. We are the biggest red county left in Texas, and 100% of my district is inside Congressional District 2.
So that would mean it's probably the biggest by population red county in the United States.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Once we lost Harris County to voter fraud, yes.
The hole that you focus your eyes right into?
That the biggest, I'm like kind of guessing,
more
one of the biggest
than all the other ones.
Republican counties in the United States get Dan Crenshaw as a member of Congress. Like, how does that happen?
So, this is mea culpa. Is that how you say it?
Mea culpa, yeah. You're admitting fault.
In 2018, when Dan Crenshaw came around, it was kind of a man crush for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Navy SEAL, war hero.
Yeah.
And I only knew one person. There were like 8 people in that race, and there was only one person that was kind of emerging as the person that was going to win, and he was kind of a rhino. He was very weak, and this guy comes along that says, look, I'm going to upend the apple cart. I'm going to be a disruptive influence. I am going to absolutely stand against the swamp, or as Ted Cruz called it, the Washington cartel.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop it. I'm going to fight it. And so we got behind him, and
damn, I would have voted for him too if he said that.
So I encouraged our local Tea Party to mail into the district, to spend money into the district and help them raise money to move mountains to get Dan Crenshaw elected. So I feel a sense of responsibility for this major screw up, because no sooner did he get there than he became part of the problem.
Oh, he became a leader of the problem. And I have to say, what year was that?
2018.
I'm sure he has official opinions on issues related to Texas or the United States, but it's also very obvious to me watching him carefully that his real interest, all his main interests are outside this country. It doesn't seem like his agenda really has anything to do with America.
It's self-interest more than anything. You see this revolving door on the part of people in Congress that line themselves up for lobbying positions as soon as they leave Congress.
So I made this.
And so
full moon.
In order to get those kind of cushy jobs, you've got to do the lobby's bidding up front early on. He's a young guy, right?
Yeah.
And he's not the kind of person that's going to be there for 20 or 30 years. He is the kind of person, though, that's going to line himself up for a cushy lobbying position once he gets out. And so you've got to go along. You cannot ruffle feathers. Especially, you can't go against leadership, and you can't go against the lobby.
well, not only does he not go against the lobby, I mean, his
Like
campaigns
this-
are the most, we pulled the numbers, the most recent one that I saw suggested that his two biggest donors are giving him money because of his foreign policy views. One is a foreign lobby, I think is his biggest donor, one of them, literally a foreign lobby, and the other is a hedge fund guy called Clifford Asness, who's, you know, I would say one of the sleazier people in American business. There's that, but also is not paying Dan Crenshaw for anything related to the United States. This only has to do with influencing his vote on questions pertaining to other countries. I mean, it's the opposite of America first, it's America last.
Yeah. It's been my greatest heartburn is his total disregard for the border and what we've been dealing with at the Texas border, and yet his obsession with Ukraine's border.
Yes. What is that?
I mean, I can't get my arms around it. So 3 years ago, we went down to the border, and pretty much all of the Texas delegation was there. Mike Johnson came from Alabama, or from Louisiana.
Yep.
The southern state congressional members came down to be with us, and we interviewed ICE agents. We interviewed U.S. Border Patrol. We interviewed U.S. Border Patrol Union. We interviewed ranchers. The only person from the congressional delegation that was not there, Dan Crenshaw. It's like, why don't you want to know about what's going on down here? This is not about working with the Mexican government. This is about on boots on the ground, right down on the border, understanding what we're dealing with down here, so you understand firsthand what's really truly going on. Because he has no clue what's really going on.
But you're in Houston. I mean, it's not that far. Houston has been completely, I have family there, and so I go, completely transformed by illegal immigration. Completely. It's unrecognizable, and it hasn't gotten better. It's gotten much worse. That's my read as a visitor. But how could he ignore that?
58% of the births in Texas are Medicaid births.
58%.
58%. So think about this a second, Tucker. 20 years ago, Medicaid was 3% of the Texas budget. Now it's the number 2 driver of the budget. And it's due in large part to illegal immigration. People come across the border, have their babies. Sometimes they go back, sometimes they don't.
So that's like collapse. I mean, that's not sustainable. Not even in the short term is that sustainable.
Good-hearted people want to say, well, we should do this. And to which I say, I think God would say, we should do it. We should do it.
Yeah.
Not the government.
Exactly.
We should do it. The
Who
church
cares so much? Use your own money.
The church should do it.
Yeah.
We used to go down to the Mexican border. I mean, to the border towns in northern Mexico and build churches. We would build schools. We would build homes. We'd go down there and do medical missions work. We can't go down there anymore because Mexico, for all intents and purposes, is a failed state. I mean, it really truly is. It's a
Oh my goodness.
And so
Oh my
we can't
goodness,
go
I
down
just
there
had a
anymore. So
genius
people say,
idea.
well, we can't go down there anymore. Therefore, the United States government needs to bail this all out. No, we are destroying our children and grandchildren's ability to have any kind of future whatsoever. We're drilling holes in the bottom of the lifeboat.
What, I mean, Crenshaw doesn't know this. I mean, his constituents, I know, are upset about it because I know a lot of them.
Tucker, he came to a town hall meeting 3 years ago when the Senate bipartisan, which anytime you hear a Senate bipartisan border bill, run fast,
Yes.
right? Democrats are not looking for any kind of solution on the border. Democrats are not looking to close the border.
They created this
They
invasion.
completely created this. And so they have this wackadoodle bill that allows 5,000 people into the country a day. 1.8 million a year. And if you look at the bones of the bill, yes, the bones of the bill say it did call for more ICE agents, but it wasn't to close the border, Tucker. It was to process people coming in to the country. So all it did was it just streamlined their ability to come into the country and be lost into the system.
Everything's good.
Okay,
Everything's
show
good.
up for your court date in a year and a half, 2 years, which they don't show up for. They're gone. They're lost into the fabric of the nation. And, you know, they're a drain on our schools. They're a drain on our infrastructure. They're a drain, really huge drain on our criminal justice system in Texas and across the United States. It's killing us.
Well, they also make it impossible to have a cohesive country. I mean, if a huge percentage of the population just got here, then what is it to be American? No one is pausing to ask that question. And when there is a financial downturn or a natural disaster, or we're tested as a nation, how do we hold together?
Yeah, 20 years ago, a friend of mine.
Hi, Ashley here with hearthookhome.com, and today we are going to learn how to crochet the moss stitch worked in a square. So we are going to make basically a granny square that is using the moss stitch instead of a traditional double crochet like you normally would. So this moss stitch is actually quite fun. It's quite easy to do. Once you establish the first few rounds, the rest go so fast you don't even have to hardly look at your stitches anymore, which is fabulous. Let's learn how to do the moss stitch in a square. To do the moss stitch in the square, you are going to need to have 4 stitch markers. We're going to use these while we are establishing the pattern. Once we get past round 3 or so, we really don't need to use these anymore, but particularly for the first round, these are extremely helpful. I'm also going to be using a hook size that is slightly larger than what is recommended for the yarn that I'm using. I'm just using some cotton from my stash. Figured I can work myself up another washcloth, and I'll just keep going until I run out of yarn. So I'm going to leave my stitch markers here. First thing is I'm going to start with a magic circle. I have a dedicated tutorial for a magic circle if you need it, but I'm going to make an X here around those. I'm going to go under the first, over the second, pull it through.
Gosh darn it, Heather.
And then I'm going to chain 1. Like I said, I do have a dedicated video tutorial for the magic circle. If you just do not like this method, you could do a chain 4 and join to the first chain made to make a circle like this. Now, we are going to not chain or anything else. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, so that we have 8 stitches total, 4 single crochets separated by 4 chain spaces. While we do this, it's extremely helpful if you place a stitch marker around each chain made. So here I just made my chain. I'm going to grab one of my stitch markers and I'm just going to grab that entire chain just like this. So it's just going around that whole chain. We're going to leave it right there. Now I'm going to do another single crochet, chain 1, grab another stitch marker and mark that entire chain. Beautiful. Single crochet and chain 1. We're going to mark that chain as well. Chain at height, and we will have your square. I know it of round 1. So you should head to the top of the first single crochet of our single crochets separated by our chain spaces. We ended with a chain space here. We're going to join to the top of the first single crochet right here.
Oh, good God.
And that is the end of round 1. So you should have 1 single crochet for each side of your square. I know it doesn't look like much now, and trust me that these stitch markers are going to be a lifesaver in the next round. So let's start a new round.
Will, because
we're going
I
to
can
chain
see
1
these stitches are.
and turn. Now we're going to find the stitch marker to the right here. So we're going to go into this chain space where this stitch marker is coming out of.
You go to the right. Weird.
Single crochet. That's going to be our new corner, the left side of that corner. Now I'm going to chain 1, and in this next space that I've marked, I'm going to do 2 single crochets separated by chain spaces. So I did my first single crochet in that stitch marker, did a chain 1. Now in the next stitch marker, I do a single crochet.
Orly, seriously?
Chain 1, and at this point you can move your stitch marker up. Like I said, once we get past round 3 or so, we really don't need these stitch markers anymore. But now this is your centermost chain space, or on this corner. So now we're going to do another single crochet and a chain 1 in that same space. So single crochet, chain 1. Now we're going to do the same thing in this stitch marker here. We're going to do a single crochet. Oops. And you can see why these stitch markers are so beneficial. Chain 1.
A lot of chaos
We're
on
going to
your
move that
hands,
stitch marker
actually.
up because that is the new corner. We're We're going to do another single crochet in that same space and another chain 1. Now we've got this next stitch marker
You're
here.
not using
so
the
we're
right
going
lingo,
to do
friend.
one more corner.
And my dog is stressing me out. I've had such a fever the last couple days, man. What's your problem? Stop being so loud. Okay.
Hey folks, in this video I'm going to show you how to Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this 4-pointed star granny square. It's super fun to make and it matches perfectly with my sun, moon and star granny squares and the moon phases granny squares too. You'll need some 8-ply or DK weight yarn in 2 different colours, and you'll need a darning needle, scissors and a 3.5mm crochet hook. We'll start with the magic ring. Wrap your yarn around your left fingers twice, making a cross on top. Insert your hook and pull the left strand under the right and then take this off your fingers. Then make 1 chain to secure it and 2 more chains. These chains will act as our first double crochet for the round. Then we're going to double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook into the magic ring and pull through a loop. Yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on the hook, then yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops on the hook.
Oh, it's one
Make
of
10
those.
more double crochets into the magic ring so we'll have a
That's not
total
double
of 12.
crochet, girlfriend. You're
Then make 1
Australian.
chain to secure it
Hold on.
and 2 more chains. These chains will act as our first double crochet for the round. Then we're going to double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook into the magic ring and pull through a loop. Yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on the hook,
Oh, okay.
then yarn over and pull through the next 2 loops on the hook. Make 10 more double crochets into the magic ring so we'll have a total of 12. This is including the first 2 chains we made. Here are the chains for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I'll
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tonight is there's gonna be a full moon. I saw out of the window 2 nights, the last 2 nights, that it's getting intense. My ear's really bothering me. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Show you where to
Had an
join
ear
it up before we
infection.
close the ring.
It's really
Skip over
driving
the
me
first chains you
bonkers.
made at the start
It's
of the
moved into my
round and look for
sinuses
the
and it
first
really
double
fucking
crochet
hurts.
that you created. We're going to join into the top of this double crochet, so insert your hook into both sides of that V at the top. Then yarn over, pull through a loop and pull through the loop on the hook to make a slip knot to join. Then turn your work over and pull the tail at the start of the magic ring to tighten this up. In the next round, this stitch we just slip stitched into will count as a stitch, and also when we get to the end of the round, we'll work into the other side of the slip stitch here. To start the next round off, we're going to chain 5. Ordinarily, we'd work into the front of these stitches here, but for these stars, we're going to work into the back loops only. We'll skip over the very first stitch and work into the next one along. Here you'll see I'm skipping over this stitch here, which is right underneath the hook, and moving along to the next one. I'll work into the back loop of this stitch, pull through a loop, and pull through the loop on the hook to make a slip stitch. In the next stitch along, working into the back loop, we're going to make a single crochet. Into the next stitch, we're going to make a half double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull through a loop, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook at the same time. In the next stitch, do a double crochet. Once you finish this double crochet, we've got to join this point of the star onto the body of the circle. Skip over the 2 stitches on from where we chained up and work a slip stitch into the next stitch along. And that's the first point of our star. We're going to want to repeat this 3 more times. Skip over the 2 stitches. Once you finish this double crochet, we've got to join this point of the star onto the body of the circle. Skip over the 2 stitches on from where we chained up and work a slip stitch into the next stitch along. And that's the first point of our star. We're going to want to repeat this 3 more times to finish off the points. Chain 5. Then remembering to work into the back bumps only, we're going to skip over the first one, move on to the next one and make a slip stitch into this space. In the next stitch, we're going to make a single crochet. In the next one, the half double crochet. And into the next stitch, we'll make a double crochet. Then we'll join this point of the star back onto the circle. Skip over 2 stitches and then slip stitch into the 3rd one along from where we started the point of the star. Make 2 more of these points and I'll meet you at the end. Here I've finished the 4th point and now I'm going to join this onto the circle. I'll skip over 2 stitches and join it on to the stitch at the base of where we first started our very first point. Slip stitch into here, trim your yarn off, and then pull this through the loop on the hook to make a slip knot. When you tighten this off, pull it slightly to the left because we'll be working in the right side of this slip stitch. When we're attaching our background colour to these points here, we're also going to be working into the back loops of these stitches. With your background colour on your hook with a slip knot, find one of the points of the stars. Work into the back loop of this stitch and make a slip stitch to
Super don't feel like doing any of this. I just kind of want to lay in bed and stare at the screen and just be sick. But here I am, trying to be productive. I worked my butt off today already. Dude, why is that dog fucking barking like that? Cool. That's pretty cool. Oh, cool. Elliot's his dad's. I'm gonna go lay down and take a nap and be miserable, guys. I'm too sick to try to entertain or chat or anything. I really gave it my best shot. But I'm hurting and I just like don't want to talk or think. My head is kind of pounding. I'll try to come back to YouTube when I do my next live stream so that I'm not just like leaving all my YouTube friends high and dry. But I have been live streaming here and there on TikTok, so you might be able to catch me here and there. But you can watch the videos on my TikTok to keep up, my regular TikTok to keep up.